Welcome to another segment of Lousje and Bean Behind the Scene. This is our first couch talk on the Lousje's couch in the store. Welcome, lovely. So this is a very special couch talk because Bean is with me on the couch and of course Charlie. And we had a really nice question from Nancy. Nancy, you asked two questions, the silver bangles, which we answered. I hope you liked it. A few weeks ago, I think it was. And this one is a really good one. It says, my husband's family is all in Holland still, except his 92-year-old mom and 3 sisters. How has being a Dutch woman here in Canada influenced your fashion and your life in general? Wow, what a huge question, eh? So, I have been with me, Tessa, because a lot of that part in my life, we've traveled together and we've been to all the changes and excitements, and so we're going to recall and how we got here.
Charlie just keeps nudging right into her. It's hilarious.
He keeps on.
But ladies, I just want to say one thing about the bangles, because it was quite funny last night. I was swimming in my pool with my son Oscar, and he said, Mom, you know what is so funny? Every time I'm underwater, I hear you bracelets.
No.
Yeah, it was so funny.
Oh my God, that's so interesting.
Yeah, and I'm always jingle jangling.
So lovely. My interest in clothing, I guess, started with my dolls. My mother was not a sewer at all. She couldn't even sew on a button. She was a knitter though, and embroidery, but not sewing. But my dolls' clothes, I used to take them because I didn't like them, and I used to cut off the sleeves, or I would cut off the skirt and then attach them to other pieces, and all by hand, right, with a needle and thread. And I guess that's how the creativity started, or my unhappiness with the way clothes were made for dolls at the time. My sisters also were not sewers, really. So I have 3 sisters. Anyway, that's how it started. And from there on, in my teens, I started to make my own clothes. I had a little sewing machine with a crank handle.
That's so funny.
Yeah, and not even making patterns, but just maybe taking a garment and changing it. And that's how it started, really. Then I immigrated in 1969. I was 19. And when I landed here with my then husband, first thing I bought was a little crank sewing machine at one of the flea markets. I remember it well. We were in Hamilton. And I started to sew everything, like the lampshades I covered that we bought, the curtains, blankets, because, okay, when we
I remember
landed
you
here,
would make our duvet covers.
Yes,
Always.
with appliques, yeah. Because when we came here, I have to say, it was almost like 10 years behind in fashion.
Yeah.
It was very backwards, right?
Yeah.
And the first thing that I noticed, and it's still like that a little bit, is that the dressing was very casual. Where in the Netherlands, it's more, I can't say dressier, but even what we have on today, right? And this is how it has changed now. It's come more towards that. But like you would wear a skirt or a dress, where here when I came it was hot summer, August. It was hotter than Haiti, and everybody was wearing shorts and t-shirts, really, and sandals. And it was really a different look, a completely, I'm not saying it's wrong, but it was a completely different look. It was a different weather pattern altogether, right, in the Netherlands. Never summers, not that hot as here, and I guess just a different lifestyle.
The European, that's where a big part
That's
of,
right.
you know.
It was very different.
I do
here.
remember as a child, like going to Holland, everything I would like make sure I'd save up, and I would get new shoes and new clothes, and because it was, at least went, for me in high school and in elementary school, it was 2 years ahead. So I would come, and I went to a Catholic high school, and on out of uniform day, I'd wear my European duds, and everybody would be like, "Oh my God, what is she wearing?"
Where did you get that? Yeah.
But I think people were kind of like afraid to dress like that too.
Too, yeah, because it was
so different.
A different look.
Yeah.
I always kept on dressing the way I dressed, right? Most of the things were made by me, but I remember we were living in a little row house. And your aunt Inge came and visited, and she stayed home while I went to work because she was on holidays. And our neighbor lady, which I didn't know that well, we just said hi bye. She came to Inge and she said, your sister-in-law that lives here, like, is she a performer or is she an actress? Because every morning she leaves and she's always dressed to the nines. And we thought it was so funny. Anyway, that was the big, Nancy, to answer your question, that was a huge cultural difference.
Yeah, yeah.
And then when we went back, I always went back once a year, try to anyway, and came back with so many ideas and so much inspiration, remember?
Yeah, yeah. But I must say now it's caught up, and now they're all wearing running shoes and jeans.
Exactly.
So it's interesting how
It's
that's
really
kind of flipped a bit. Well, not that, I don't know, flipped,
No,
but they're
agree.
more
Totally.
westernized, right? Like
Yeah, totally. And now when I go, they ask me, where did you get your clothes? And it's from Lousje and Bean.
Yeah. And we don't find the nice stores that we used to there.
No.
They're all closing up, which is so sad.
It's so sad. Like the little independence like we have now here, right?
Yeah.
We used to go and
we used to go in all the little cities and find.
we had all the you had it all researched.
Yeah,
all the
we used to
names.
love going.
Yeah.
And it was so inspirational, right? Because you get ideas.
Oh, totally.
So that was a big thing for us.
But it was also with not only the clothing, but the interior decorating, you know?
Yeah.
Like the furniture, the little vases, everything was different and unique.
Yeah. I remember going with my tante aunts at night. Like if I stayed with her for a while, we would go on a walk after dinner and everybody had their curtains open and they're sitting and reading or knitting or watching a little TV. And you'd peek in, because the lights would be on and it'd be dark out. You could see their whole decor in there, and I just loved always like.
It was like a movie.
Yeah, but it was such like simple but beautiful decor.
Yeah.
Never cluttery, never.
No.
Oh, it was so beautiful.
Yeah, I remember when we then needed furniture, your dad and I. It was all second-hand flea market, also money-wise, of course. We didn't have much money, but then I would paint it bright colors and
So you
made the pillows and
Yeah.
I remember the tie-dye curtains we had at one house.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, it was a lot of that self-creation. And then when you guys were born, I wanted to dress you in unique clothes, which were not available.
You should show the picture of Sebastian in a suit.
I will. I will. He had a little jean suit. I think he was 2 or 3 years old.
So cute.
So cute. And I made all your dresses, and she herself took scarves for me and she wound them around her head and she had big bows. And I still have people that I meet from kindergarten and stuff, and they say, oh, I never forget. I couldn't wait to get to school just to see how Tessa was dressed. And then, of course, women started asking, and then I started a children's clothing line. It was called Pied Piper. And I had a little shop that I did shared with another woman, that she did the sewing with me, and that was short-lived because it was a lot of work and I couldn't sustain it.
Well, 4 young kids.
4 young kids age. Yeah, so that was when you weren't.
I wasn't even born yet.
No.
Because
Sam
you
was
were on
a baby.
King Street then, right?
Yes.
She had a little building there.
Yeah. And then also there still the craft shows were then already, Tessa, in Grimsby.
Mm-hmm.
What is that one on that big craft show in Grimsby on the street? I would go there. Anyway, so yeah, and then later on, a few years later, you were 4. I was fortunate to stay home with them when they were little. I really enjoyed that time. I thought I was very fortunate. But while I was home, there was always a sewing machine on the table, right? On the dining room table. And lots of fabrics,
Yeah,
right?
always, fabrics always around.
Yeah.
Yeah, and she made everything, curtains, everything.
So, but then the thought of my own store for ladies came, and I had already made quite a few patterns and samples, and then I found the cutest little boutique in Port Lucie, watching the sailboats between Murphy and the Port Mansion. And I called it Pierrot, after the clown with the tear. And what I did was made the pattern, made the sample, and then cut out like maybe 10 or 15, and it went to home sewers. we had some lovely women in the city that were sewing, and it was exciting.
So and then in between there, she'd be in Holland twice a year, once or twice a year, visiting her
Yes.
family and bring back ideas and, you know.
Yeah, and also some jewelry.
And jewelry and fabric.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it's been a huge
It's been forever.
inspiration.
It's just in my DNA,
DNA,
right?
yeah, that's
I can't
true
get
too.
rid of it.
Yeah, yeah.
So yeah, that's how it started. And then Tessa, of course, got the bug from her mommy, right?
Yeah, so in high school, I started
Sewing.
and making my own things and designs. And then people would ask me to recreate it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's right.
And then I went to Holland for a year to be an au pair in my early 20s. And I spent a year there, which was amazing. The family that I lived with, they had a sewing machine. And so I would sew on my spare time. And I'd go to the market in Groningen and get really cool fabrics.
Yeah,
And then I called Lousje, my mummy.
every day, twice a day.
And I said, we have to do something. We have to do something.
By that time, I had left everything behind and I went into a total different direction. I worked in the boutique in the winery in Nijkerner Lake. I did it by myself, right? Oh, it was very difficult. So I said to Tessa,
She said, no
I
way.
can't do it anymore.
Yeah,
no,
she
I
said, no
can't.
way.
So she kept on and on. She's very stubborn. So we couldn't stop it any longer.
Yeah.
And here we are.
Here we are. Anyways, I think we should do this in 2 parts because we have such a big story
Yeah,
to
it's a
go.
long
So how about
story.
we do another couch
Oh,
talk?
I think that's a great
Are you inviting
idea.
me back?
That's a great idea.
Hey, Charlie,
I'd
what
love
do you
to
think?
Have you back.
So next week we can talk about how Lousje and Bean was started. And speaking of, you're wearing a beautiful Lousje and Bean creation.
This was one of her first ones.
Yeah.
First designs.
The Izzy dress.
Love. And
Love.
yours?
And I have the Harlem dress on,
Oh,
which I
it's so
love.
adorable.
Yeah. And look how beautiful this necklace
Yeah.
goes. The color wave, Ziska, and then the little cute earrings. And then of course,
You're luxurious.
love it. Ooh, those are my favorite. No, they truly are.
Yeah.
The
I know,
Ayala
mine
bar.
too.
They're stunning.
Yeah, and they come with a lot of colors.
Oh, and the
right?
majestic. Watch out, we have some new majestic necklaces
really?
coming in.
Oh, that's exciting.
Yeah, very exciting. Some new styles. And Ziska, perfect.
And this cutest little jacket, from
Yeah, so that was this week.
Eversace.
Yeah.
That was past week. We did the Eversace.
New drop.
Really well received by all your lovelies.
Black and white, beautiful.
Black and white. And then, of course, the Marie Lalune.
Yes,
No brainer,
the
Marie
restock
Lalune.
and some new colors.
Yeah, gorgeous.
Watch out for tomorrow. We have
Yeah.
a special item coming from Cut Loose.
Cut loose. We're not telling you. And we are doing this segment because we have so many new lovelies signing on. And you probably have no clue where these two are coming from and what they've done in the past. So we like to fill you in, and we've had questions for it too. So I'm excited that we're doing
Yeah,
this.
watch out next week because you'll get all the history.
All the history.
So that was up until 2004. So stay tuned after 2004.
Exactly.
Next Sunday.
Exactly. And I need to say something about last week's couch talk, because I was talking about this sleeping mask and a lot of you lovelies were interested in it and asked me for the link. So we're posting it for you right now. And order it. You're going to love it. You're going to be sleeping in till 12 o'clock because it's pitch dark. Okay, lovelies. As always, like and subscribe.
Yeah, hit a thumbs up if you like the video, and of course subscribe to our YouTube
Of
channel.
course.
And
Keep on smiling.